So I want to thank you. I really always appreciate that you invite us to be here. And today, definitely going to talk about the extreme volatility that I would say, fortunately, has been getting reduced a little bit. So we are talking about spelling things properly, like magnets, not magnets, but magnets, and reverse continuations. Setups for volatile markets. My name is Lee Goldstein. I'm the trading director at 10 Minute Trades. Please keep in mind that any of the trades that we're talking about are for educational purpose. It is possible to lose money trading futures, so please always trade carefully, always have a plan and think about what you're doing. Don't just jump into a trade randomly expecting to make money. You got to really think about what you're doing. It's important. And the system that we use is called appointment-based trading. We trade using the Ninja Trader platform and we trade futures. So a lot of people sometimes get confused because we have a lot of really interesting things that we do. And one of the most interesting things is we trade selected earnings, stock earnings, but we use futures for it. So traders who see us for the first time, they get confused. They go, "What do you mean you trade futures with earnings?" Well, instead of using the actual stock price, we're watching the stock price, but we're trading futures. So for instance, next week we've got Home Depot, and we've done a lot of research and studying, and we know Home Depot is going to move the YM. So we trade the YM futures on Home Depot earnings. And that's what we mean when we say we trade futures. And we trade futures for everything we do. News trading, event-based trading, that is the basics of what we are. And, I was thinking today maybe I'd change things up a little bit. Why should you even listen to me? What do I have to offer? What do I have as a trader that you might want to listen to me? So, I got started doing this many years ago. I've been working with 10-minute trades at this company now for 8 years, which is a lifetime in the trading market. Most people jump around a lot, or, you're dealing with people that own their own companies, write their own software. But I've been with 10-minute trades for 8 years, which is a really long time. And I've seen the company go from basically a hobbyist company to a very professional trading company that has lots of great setups for trading, especially the current markets. We have a system and we have setups that really work and are excellent to trade in all sorts of markets. But, why should you listen to me? I mean, I've got more than 15 years of experience trading the news. I've studied the news. I've put in my thousands and thousands of hours studying news events, and I really care about helping people to succeed and learn how to use the tools that are out there so you can have great outcomes trading events. Also, in this day and age where everyone is trading prop accounts, yes, you can trade prop accounts and you can trade news. And I had just recently funded a Apex account last week, and you can do it. Okay, you can trade Apex, you can trade Lilu, you can trade quite a few of the different prop accounts trading news. And we have lots of members that are using many of those companies to trade. It's understandable how nowadays people want to use prop trading because you don't have to risk all of your own cash. Deep down in my heart, I love cash the most because let's face it, you have $1,000 winning trade. At the same time, the next day you can take $800 to $1,000 of that money out of your account without asking anybody for permission. So there is a really strong reason why it is still very valuable to trade cash. And I think that everyone should fund an account at least once in their life. Learn to trade cash. It feels different. It's absolutely different than trading prop. And it really teaches you I think, the best of the best habits. There's one really negative thing I think about trading with prop accounts is sometimes it can create some very bad habits Because let's be honest, if you blow up a prop account and it only costs $39 to reset it, that's a lot different than losing $1,500 in cash and having to tell your partner, hey, I had a bad day at the office today. Very different. So there is great value in obviously all the different methods, but there is nothing wrong in this day and age with still trading cash. Okay, we have a system and we have elements that make up our system. Our software, JOBB News Trader software, installs into NinjaTrader. And as part of the strategy that our software is, we have reversal continuation setups and magnet trades, two of my favorite setups for trading in these volatile markets. You know, when you're in a system, when you're in a market, when you're looking at charts, and one tweet can move an instrument that you're trading more than 100 ticks, you have to have setups that are safe so you don't get blown out of all your trades. What I'm finding very interesting also is many of our normal regular setups are working really well also in these markets. I'll show you a couple of those setups before I quit for the day as well today. So we have a system, and our system has 5 important elements. The weekly market mover, affectionately known as the WMM, our daily market movers, which are our daily trade reports. The weekly market movers is our weekly schedule. It's free. It's available to anyone that wants it. All you have to do is go to our website, www.10minutetrades.com. Opt in for the free video, how to find 10-minute trades, and we'll start sending you the weekly market schedule. Every week, we look at all the important events that we feel will move the futures markets and we point them out. We also show on the weekly market mover our trade room schedule, which is our third element that makes up our system. Our fourth element, of course, would be our software. And I give a special fifth element to our magnet trade software because I think it's such an important way to trade. And what's great about it is anybody can trade with magnets, even if you don't have our system. It's so easy to do. And in fact, what's really great about the two methodologies I'm going to show you today, you can trade them with any system that has simple chart trading. You don't have to, become a member of 10-minute trades, although we really help you to learn how to implement and find the best times to trade these ways. But what's great about these setups is any trading platform can trade these methods, and they're really simple and really easy to trade. This is the weekly market mover. This was actually this week's. And if you look at it carefully, on the top column, you've got the trigger time, which is the time of the event that we're trading. The trade room opens at the following time. That's in that next column. The actual name of the trigger, and we had quite a few interesting setups this week. We had the WASD grain report. We had something unbelievable, not unbelievable, but very unusual that happened today. We were getting ready to trade the NOPA crush report, which was a huge winner last month, and we got to the trade room. Well, I was looking at we trade soybean oil and the futures, and before I got to the trade room, I noticed the chart was looking real strange, and it turned out soybean oil went limit down before our trade, and we weren't able to trade because the market wasn't available. That's what I call volatility. That's what I call unusual markets. Even though there has been a reduction in some volatility, we're still seeing really unusual trading conditions. And the two setups I'm going to show you today are great for any trading conditions. And that's why I love these setups. So this is our weekly schedule. We had Walmart earnings this morning, which was kind of wild to trade. We had Cisco yesterday. The API crude oil report, CPI and PPI, of course, are events that we trade. We essentially trade the news exactly at the moment the news is released. And with these new setups that we've added over the years to our system, we now also trade on the news, after the news, with reversals and magnets. So that's what I'm going to show you today. Our daily market movers, which is another element of our system. Like I said, we have 5 elements: the daily market movers, the weekly schedule, trade room access software, and the magnet. The daily market movers is a report that we send to our members the day before an event we're going to potentially trade. And it has the setups and information about the event so that you can get it the day before, so you can be prepared for the next events that we're going to trade. You don't want to, just walk into the trade room, especially with news, and not know what's going on. And on our daily market mover, we've got a small journal, sometimes up to 6 previous trades. Sometimes we might just have an extra setup that, because of the volatility we're seeing in these particular markets, we have special last minute setups, or it might be a 2-month recent setup. And that in particular is what we've been doing on the FOMC statement. We added what we call as a trap trade, a very specialized reversal trade, and it was a phenomenally successful trade on the FOMC statement, which just recently took place, just about a week ago. Then, of course, we have our news trader software, the magnet trade, reverse continuations. Our software is a custom strategy add-on to NinjaTrader. In the software, there are multiple setups. We have reversals, we have range trades. In other words, you can create a range based on time or based on graphical zones if you want to. And when the range ends, orders will be placed on the chart. And if you break out of a range or break down from a range, you can enter into your trade. So you can design your own range trades. Pretty much our software can be used very specifically for news trading, where the setups are quite specific, or you could design your own trades and be a completely discretionary trader with our software if you choose to do that. Our software can automate your entries, targets, and stops. It can semi-automate entries, and it can also be completely discretionary, because some of the events that we set up have buttons that appear on the chart, and to enter a trade, you just click a button and that puts you into the market. So our software is also a super ATM, we call it. An ATM is an automated trade manager. So instead, if you're familiar with NinjaTrader or TradeStation or other platforms, instead of having to write and learn their built-in little programming language, our software, you just enter numbers into our software and you can easily control how your stops trail, whether your entries are going to be automated, where your target's going to be, how big your targets will be, whether or not you might have brackets that you're going to create. So when we say we're going to create brackets, one of the big things about news trading is we put brackets above and below the current price. These little X's here, there are orders. Whoops. Those X's are the orders. When the news comes out, the market will burst up or down very often, pierce through those X's and pull you into a trade. Those brackets are completely adjustable by you. And of course, we come up with what the best brackets are by studying the events we're going to trade, watching the movement, and that's how we create our setups. So yes, when you trade with us, you could use Fibonacci's if you want. You can use all the normal indicators that you like, but we don't really rely on them as much as most other trading systems. Because think about what we do. What we do is a little bit different. For instance, if we're going to trade the CPI report, which we just traded this week, we're going to study all of the CPI reports that were recent. and we're going to look at the movement, and we're going to create our setup based on how that report moved when the news was released. Some of our reports are exploding breakouts, meaning they generally move in one direction and you make your money when the trade explodes, for instance, to the upside if the news is good, maybe to the downside if the news is bad, depending, of course, on the instrument you're trading. Then we have trap trades. Our trap trade is a specialized reversal trade. It's an event where we study the events, like I said, and certain events that we study have shown a propensity to reverse regularly. And they have particularly predictable bursts so that, for instance, a CPI, well, for instance, this morning's trade, we had brackets, 55 ticks on our first bracket, and then we went up to 67 ticks on our second bracket. Normally, that's the type of movement we see in CPI, PPI today, and retail sales, and that bracket gets pierced, and then we expect a quick reversal. Interestingly, today there were like 5 reports all trading at the same time. And a funny thing sometimes happens when you expect massive volatility. Sometimes the opposite happens and you don't get filled. And we didn't get filled this morning. It was kind of strange, but it happens. So our appointment-based trading system, it's simple, it's time-based. You can schedule your trades on specific days at specific times, up to a month in advance. How do we find these events? It's very simple. We find our events on the various free calendars that are available. Forex Factory, investing.com. If you go to forexfactory.com, for instance, you'll see a whole week's worth of events if you press the calendar button. And we study many, many of these events and pick out the best of the best ones to trade. Also, all the calendars have a system where they show you, either with a color coding system or a number of stars they put up, what they think are the most impactful events. And then, of course, we double check them to make sure that they are correct. So why do I like appointment-based trading? I love trading. I hate being in the market for very long. I hate watching charts all day long. I found over the years that the less I trade, the more I make. Trading can be very boring if you're sitting at your computer waiting for setups. Appointment-based trading, news trading, the way we do it is very specific. We make a schedule and we know that we're going to be in the trade room at a certain time, and that's it. I don't spend my whole day watching trades, watching the markets, waiting for trades. So what triggers these appointment-based trades? It's really simple. High-impact economic reports, GDP, jobs reports, PPI, retail sales. Trigger category 2 might be earnings. We trade tons of earnings. Trigger 3, open, market opens, market closes. Almost all of our members are working on market opens and closing trades, and we are always looking for new triggers, new categories. But within those 3 categories, there's hundreds of trades, and you can pick the best ones and pick the ones that fit your schedule. And then the best of the best of the best trades, we call them our family money trades, and we notate them always on our weekly schedule. What might be the best of the best trades? So if members want to just come into the room, maybe you'll trade just 3 times that week or 2 times that week. For instance, Monday, the WASD trade is a family money trade. Walmart was a family money trade based on opportunity, not so much on its past performance. We explain all of that. And then NOPA has been a family money trade, meaning it has been making money on a regular basis. That's ultimately, we have 2 rules for family money trade. 90% of them are trades that make money on a regular basis. 10% are sometimes trades that have been uneven but have a fantastic opportunity for profit. Not so risky that they're going to blow up an account if it doesn't work, but a great opportunity for profit. And that's actually where Walmart fit in. because there could have been an excellent move because the market was really watching Walmart this morning. Unfortunately, it didn't have a great move. Their earnings were late. Everything that could not be perfect about an earnings trade happened with Walmart, and people didn't lose money. We just didn't have an opportunity that was there, and that will happen. You can trade, as I said, in a prop account or in your cash account. And here's how we trade volatility safely. The magnet trade is one of my all-time favorite trades. Anybody can trade magnets. Anybody can set up their charts in 10 minutes to trade magnets. Now, I don't want to waste 10 minutes of this webinar setting up the charts. I thought for a minute I would just show you how we set up our charts for the magnet and for news trading. But here's the deal. Look how simple our charts are. No Christmas tree lights, no setups and graphics that you can't follow so that you miss the trade. Really simple, really clean charts so that there's no doubt when to enter, when to exit. With the magnet trade, you can also, if you want to, use your own indicators and use our custom magnet feature to use your own indicators. But we set up our charts so that you have highs of days and lows of days, which is a free indicator in NinjaTrader. High of day, you go to indicators and look for current day OHL, throw that on your chart, and there you go. That's indicator number one. Indicator number two, everybody trades with them at one time or another, pivots. Put those indicators on your chart. Indicator number three would be the VWAP. Now, the VWAP, if you're a lifetime NinjaTrader member, customer, you get their order flow VWAP for free. Otherwise, NinjaTrader has a free VWAP indicator that we give to all our members. It's virtually exactly the same as the regular one that they give if you're a lifetime member. And then you may want to put I like the net change display indicator. If you notice on my chart, down on the lower right here, there's a number. And that number represents how many ticks or points in the NQ were up or down since the market opened last evening. 30 points right now, so you can get an instant glance at the net change display indicator, which is free, part of NinjaTrader. Just install it. Go down, slide down to net change display. The setup is real easy. We have a video that shows you how to set your charts up exactly like ours. And all you have to know is, am I going to show points or money or ticks? And where should I put that indicator so that I can see it without anything getting in the way? So we put it on the lower right. And bingo, your charts are almost 100% set up like ours. Add some volume, all right, a free volume up, volume down indicator. I haven't bought a single thing yet to set my charts up. And I also love the squeeze. Everybody's heard of the squeeze. You can find free momentum squeeze indicators, but there's also some very inexpensive squeeze indicators that are available for NinjaTrader. The squeeze is a great lagging indicator, but it's great for after the news, and it's really helpful. That's everything that we put on our charts for trading. Now, what is a magnet, and why is magnet trading so valuable in especially volatile markets? Well, magnets are exit areas on a chart that almost all traders look at, and that's why they're magnets. Who do you know that doesn't look at the high of the day and the low of the day? So what happens? Who do you know that doesn't look at pivots? You know, PP, R3, R1, S1. There's certain pivot levels that are really, really popular. Why are they popular? Because so many traders look at these same levels and put their orders around these levels that these areas act as magnets that pull price into them. So what we realized is over the years we watched in our news trading how these highs of days, it really started with highs of days and lows of days. That was our first magnet system setup because we noticed so many times after, or sometimes right before a news trade, the high of day would get tested, the low of day would get tested. So we came up with a really simple methodology to trade that test. So think of it this way. A magnet is a very popular area on a chart, popular because dozens and dozens, thousands of traders look at these same areas. They place their orders around these areas, so all of that activity pulls price to those areas, and we designed a way to exit at those areas. And that's the key. The magnet is your exit. So we have a simple strategy. For instance, let me show you a magnet trade. And we also, what's interesting, our reversal continuation setup is really, in some ways, a simpler magnet trade in disguise many times. Sometimes you don't have time to set up a trade, but you might have a reversal continuation set up on your chart. A reversal continuation is as simple as putting a button on the chart, instant long, instant short. When you press that button, it puts you in the market instantly long or instantly short. But the key is, remember what I said before, the key is to have an ATM, a trade manager, an automated trade manager. You don't want to just be throwing orders on the chart. You want to do it safely. You want to have targets, you want to have stops, you want to have risk defined, so that you're not just randomly throwing orders on the chart. And that's what our magnet trade does, and that's what our reversal continuations do. So let's say you want to trade a magnet and you think that the high of the day is going to get tested again. If you go back a little bit in time, and I'm looking at the NQ right now, we already had a magnet about or before 1 o'clock, quite before 1 o'clock. The NQ has kind of been testing the high of day for most of the day. The perfect magnet, in my opinion, is always one of the first magnets. The first test, you know how they say when you look at indicators, one of the best setups is almost always the first test? Well, that's true with magnets. Or a great magnet is hours after a test was made, not minutes after a test was made. So you could see that the high of the day on the NQ hasn't been tested in many hours. All right? You got to really go back. It actually made a low and pulled off the low, and that was 5:30 in the morning roughly. Then you notice when traders started waking up, they traded the open, and then the NQ went on a very strong bullish run. 10:30, 11 o'clock, you could see it start really pushing up, and you could set that magnet trade up. So what do I mean by a magnet? I want to test the exit of the high of the day. I want to set up a trade that pulls me out at the high of the day. So let me show you a real magnet trade. Let's see what we got here. I did a couple. Here we have a gold magnet trade. You could see there's a bullish move in gold, right? Put your order on the chart, and this was not even using the software. This was just trading in a prop account, trading for a test of that green line, which is the high of the day. This is how the magnet trade became invented. We noticed these levels being tested. Now look, there was a little bit of a pullback. But then, as you see, the bullish run continued, goes up, hits the high of the day. Very, very nice, profitable magnet trade. Another magnet, natural gas. In these markets, natural gas is a great magnet. Our magnet software has a button called the Magnet Auto Trade. If I press that button, the magnet trade can be automatic. It will put our orders on the chart when we reach the line, the thick line that is before the exit. Our orders are put on the chart, obviously, before you get to the exit. We can also move that line so you can adjust where you enter, and we can automate the whole trade so that we just press a button as the price changes, let me show you. I'm pressing the wrong button here. Here we go. Natural gas, it's going to move down. It's going to enter us into the market. When it hits the line, there's that thick line is our magnet entry. And then what's going to happen is, in many, many cases, and natural gas is making a low of the day. This was a natural gas storage report day. At 10:30, the news came out. It was rather negative. It pushed down, and actually our breakout trade made money that day. Then there was a change in direction. It retraced about 50%, but this is a great magnet trade. We entered expecting that the price would continue on its way down. And watch for just a few more seconds. It was very quiet, but then the price is going to start to move down. Notice our order is automatically placed on the chart, configurable. The default is the order is placed on the chart 3 ticks before the magnet. And you can place additional orders through the magnet and past the magnet, so that if you burst through the magnet, you can make even more money with a multiple order, multi-position trade. And you could see this trade was actually pretty slow. Usually magnets are quicker. They act as a magnet and it pulls the price. This one, it chopped around a little bit, and we waited, trading in our prop account, waited. Here it goes, boom. That's very often how a magnet trade works. It just pulls the price, literally, like a strong magnet does. Let me show you one more, because I also want to show you reverse continuations. One more magnet. We love trading gold magnets. Gold is a great magnet. Also, gold magnets often happen all day long. Here we go. Let me speed it up. That's our software. We have a magnet auto mode. We have a thick line, which is our entry. You can choose long or short depending where you are in the market. We get filled. We have an order past the magnet, and we have an order at the magnet. Gold pulls down, gives you a little bit of a scare, but not really that much. There goes the price. Boom. Hits the first magnet. Pulls back. Boom. Hits the second magnet. This was a trade I actually took this morning. I forgot to record it, so I replayed it back. But I made about $250 on that trade. Perfect test. Perfect magnet. The magnet software lets you also trade any indicator you want. So let's say, for instance, you want to trade a magnet of the VWAP. So we can put on a magnet trade very simply. Turn on the magnet. Instead of using our automated high of day, low of day, we have a custom magnet level. The VWAP is 21,363, so I just type that level in, 21,363. I can leave everything at the moment just set on default, apply it and OK it, turn my magnet on, and you'll see, here's my magnet order line, okay? This line is where I would enter for a test of the VWAP, because that's the area I want to exit the trade. So what we do to make it easy, just put your magnet on the exit and move it so that you can enter before you get there. Very simple. If I want the trade to be manual, I don't do anything. I just leave it the way it is, and if price goes down to that area, that heavy line, it'll turn purple, the entry button, and I can press the purple button. It'll also make a sound, and then it will put me in the trade. I could also set it to auto, and I can go and do something else. When price goes down to this area here, it'll put me in the trade, and then it'll exit according to my setup. If I have a 10-tick target, it'll take me out of the trade. 10 ticks for target 1. Maybe target 2 is 30 ticks. That's how you can trade custom magnet on any level. The other setup that we have that I love, and it's one of our best setups, is the reverse continuation. When we're trading news, one of the things that we see all the time are reversals and or continuations. You'll get an explosion, and that explosion will often completely change direction immediately, but sometimes it'll just pull back a little bit and it'll continue on its way. So we call that a reversal continuation. Takes about a minute to set it up. I'm going to remove my strategy and start from scratch. Let's say you just came into our trade room, you're watching the NQ, we're getting ready for a big trade, and you want to set up your chart so that you have the opportunity to choose a reversal continuation. This is how easy it is to set up with our software. Right-click the chart, click Strategy, click News Trader, click Trade Type, Reverse Continue. All we need for a reverse continuation is a position, and that position has number of contracts, a target. Right now I have two positions, 15 ticks and 40 ticks, 25 tick stop. All I have to do is change those numbers. If I want a bigger stop, I could make it a 40 tick stop. If I want a bigger target, I could make it a 20 tick target. I apply it. I choose the account I want to trade it in. For today, I'm on Sim because I'm not going to, I don't have a news event right now. And I label the trade reverse continue. When you label a trade and apply it and OK it, it shows up in the control panel with that label. All I have to do to turn it on is click the enabled box. Now you notice I have an instant long button and an instant short button. And if I want to enter the trade, all I do is click instant long, for instance. And now I have an NQ setup. I'm in the trade. I had a 20 tick target. I had a 40 tick target. I had a 35 tick, whatever the stop was. I think it was 30 ticks. I can always adjust my stops. I can always make my targets bigger. Obviously, if you get into a profitable situation, you can move your stop into safety and start trailing. It's a very, very powerful setup. For instance, the setup that we used on this now, it really looks like all of a sudden this market wants to go down, doesn't it? So if you think that's the case, go instantly short. See if it works for you. Practice in Sim. Get the hang of it. Look, the market's trying to pushing down a little bit. Maybe the market's going to go flat today. Reversal continuation. Hit the first target. Now, look, expand your target. Bring your stop to safety. What could be easier to make some money? Look at this. Trailing. I'm trailing manually. I'm up over $200 in this trade. Bingo. Trade's over. Very nice little trade. Reverse continuation. Let me show you a real live one that we took on the FOMC, which was a phenomenal, phenomenal trade. Not only did our breakout, did our trap trade work. We had a trap trade because we expected a giant reversal, but also our whatchamacallit, reversal continuation trade also worked beautifully as well. Hope I can find this video. What did I do with it? Here it is. Okay. So FOMC, we traded with a trap trade, which is a planned reversal. We assumed, because of our testing, we had 2 years of testing the ES and the MES, and we traded both in 2 different prop accounts. Watch this middle trade. It burst. It's going to fill us, right? When it finishes moving. I don't even remember which way it filled. Here it goes. It went down, filled us long, changed direction completely. $850 trade in an instant. Then we took a discretionary short because the market was looking short after it failed to the upside. Hit my first target, and now I was able to trail for another $800 on the full size ES. Keeps going down and down and down. I was able to trail, like I said, using the reverse continuation. All I had to do to turn that trade on was click the button. I had it set up just like I showed you previously. I put in a target and a stop, and when I was ready, I pressed the button instant short. It put me in the market. It put my stop on the chart. I moved my target to the low of the day because that to me was a great target. As the price kept moving down, we expanded our target. It looked like it might even go further than the low of the day. The reverse continue can really give you some excellent, excellent profitable trades. It's a great simple, simple way to trade super volatility because you can set this up, watch the market, wait for the news to come out, and then put your orders on the chart after the massive volatility is over, and you could trade the trend that often gets created when the news comes out. So let me show you a fantastic offer we would love to make for everyone. Okay, I've shown you all of this stuff. Here is the deal I'd like to make for everyone. If you would love to join us for all of our upcoming news trades, our earnings trades, I didn't even have time to show an earnings trade. Here's one of our members' screenshots. Amazon recent trade, $900 profit he made on Amazon. This one was 2 quarters ago, full transparency. Okay, trading in a prop account. One of our members, Ravi from Switzerland, made over 900 bucks. I have so many great earnings trades. You can come into all of our trade rooms, have access to all of our software, complete pro membership, news trader software, our daily market mover trade reports. You'll receive them the day before the event comes out, so you can look, practice if you want to. If you know how to use NinjaTrader Playback, that's one of the things we teach all of our members. Daily market movers, pro trade room subscription. You'll come into our trade room and trade with us. I show our members how to do these trades, how to set up the software multiple times a day, sometimes many times during the week. You get access to the trap trade software, everything. Nothing's held back. You can trade in your prop account. A 10-minute trade pro membership trial for $20.25 for 30 days. It renews $97 a month. That's all that we charge for our pro membership. It's ridiculous, our pricing on it. You get the reversal continuation setups. You get the magnet trade software setup, trap trades, breakout trades, earnings trades, www.gopro25.com. We are going to turn off the trial tomorrow night at midnight, so you may want to do this pretty quickly before it goes away. www.gopro25.com. What we do is a great way to trade. You can trade on your own schedule, watch the markets, and if you have other systems that you like to trade, we're a great add-on because you can schedule your trades with us. You don't have to put 8 hours a day in watching the charts. You can use us as an extra trading bonus system. For instance, maybe you're trading a robot system that you like, and you can add us to your collection of setups, and it's incredibly reasonably priced. Most everybody that trades with us and puts the time in to learn can make that money back. $97 a month is one good earnings trade, one good news trade. It's not even, a good news trade could make you $300-400. And $97 a month is ridiculously inexpensive. You get our news trader software, the magnet trade. We will teach you all about appointment-based trading, the whole methodology. Choose the events you want to trade. Learn about trading futures with earnings, which is a system and a service that we could offer all by itself. And of course, trading on a schedule. I'll guide you step by step in our trade rooms. You'll learn about our family money trades. So everybody, this is it, www.gopro25.com. For a 30-day trial, full pro membership, expires tomorrow night. And folks, that's what I got for you today. Definitely learn to trade reversals, continuations, and magnets. Great way to trade super volatile markets in a very safe manner. So thanks for listening. Anthony, if there's any questions out there, feel free to ask me and I'll relay the answers. Otherwise, thanks for inviting me, and I really appreciate the opportunity to present on Traders Corner. Thanks, Anthony.